Women who have money or think they have money, I don't know. How do you define who has money? There are so many ways you could look at wealth. But okay, let's look at money as money, real, cash. And women who have it, we will assume they are rich. We'll consider them rich. But there are different levels of being rich. That's what I'm trying to say. So in Nigeria, for instance, some people who think they're rich will go somewhere else and they'll be as poor. So because being rich in Naira is not the same thing as being rich in dollars. But let's put that aside. Let's just assume we're dealing with Nigeria. And we're talking about women who feel that they are rich or who believe they are rich or who are considered rich. And I see this thing all the time and I think it's a tendency that black women tend to have, because I've listened to African American women in America saying the same thing, and it's very I feel sad for them that they think like that, because it doesn't help them solve the problem they are complaining about, which is, men, I don't find it easy to get men or keep men because according to them they are intimidated by the fact that I have money. Okay, that is a possibility. Yes, it happens. There are men that are insecure, true, but does that mean that all of you should settle for that excuse? Does it really mean that if you settle for that excuse, it should be the accurate way to explain the fact that you're unable to keep a man? I say no. I don't believe that. In fact, I have seen some of these women in action. I have heard reports about them, but I've actually seen them in action, and I tell you, there are many things they do which will make any man, even the man who has more money than them, not want to have them around in his life. So I'm going to point out a few of those things, and I'm going to be saying it based on how I, as a man, and I consider myself an alpha male. Let me be clear. Some people think being an alpha male means a woman that disrespects you, you get to a point you beat the hell out of her, but just beat her in privacy that she will not be able to report, or nobody will know that she was beaten or something like that. So there's some aspect of alpha maleness, presumably, that is supposed to require you as a man to be willing and able to beat up the woman, to teach her some sense and know that she should respect you. I don't accept that. I believe that a true alpha male is the one that can find a way to actually effect the outcome he wants in the woman he's interacting with, all right, without needing to settle for any form of physical violence at all. In fact, any form of violence, whether verbal or physical, without needing to do anything that he will not be proud to talk about later on in narrating what has transpired between both of them. In other words, if you know you have to hide, for instance, maybe under the cover of darkness or whatever other medium, to assert yourself with a certain kind of woman, then don't come around and say that you're an alpha male. You're not. Because your alpha maleness must enable you to exercise the restraint needed not to then become guilty of what you would accuse somebody else of being. So, a man who beats up women, there's no excuse for it, or one way or the other. If the woman provokes you to the point that you feel you can't control yourself anymore, walk away. Anyway, so that's by the way. I just wanted to point that out now. So yes, I'm speaking as an alpha male. I have learned the hard way techniques with which I can actually exercise my independence and my preference and get my preferences respected, okay, in relating with anybody, male or female, and especially with potentially abusive females. All right, there are ways you can conduct yourself that will actually literally disarm, okay, a person that is trying to abuse you or subject you to some kind of discomfort. So, but let's go back to what I was saying. So what I'm trying to say is that let me give you some examples. All right, the first thing I noticed with women who think they have money is they want to put it in your face that, look, if it wasn't for the fact I needed a man, I wouldn't even want you to tolerate you on any excesses you have. Look, respect yourself and I respect you. If you don't, so first of all, they are very, very, very often, in terms of their disposition, aggressive. Okay, they are very disposed to being confrontational. It takes very little to set them off. That's the first thing I notice about it. So you literally have to be walking on eggshells around them, right? So the man who wants to date these women, if he first of all does not have more money than them, probably they both think they're equally rich, then the truth is she's going to be kind of she's going to go around with a chip on her shoulder with you. So it's always going to be a case of a kind of a quote-unquote power tussle with her. She's going to be measuring everything you do for 50, I must do 50. You take 50, I must take 50. Because you see, for her, the money means that she's everything. and she wants to tell you, yes, I'm a woman, but don't try me. I'm saying this, and I'm saying it with due respect to women who do not behave like this, but I tell you, many of the women who believe that they have money, it's an attitude thing. Some of them don't even realize it, because the Western media has successfully sold the idea of femininity to women in this part of the world that has to do with competition with men. This is the unfortunate thing, so the mindset is totally wrong, that they need to kind of be in contention with the male person, whether their partner or even any other man they meet on the streets. They are always thinking, they're always on the defensive, they're always thinking he wants to take advantage of me, he wants to push me around. So that mindset already is like a disaster waiting to happen. So they have that. They have the one in which they are always readily confrontational, rather aggressive, okay, a bit bossy, okay. So there's that. The other thing is wanting to be right all the time. You see, even the woman that doesn't have as much money as you wants to be right at all times. Many times they are like that. Admitting that they were wrong, oh God, that one is another job on its own. Very few women have that capability. What I've seen, if they are your spouse, and over the years, as the years go by, especially if they saw you at some point in your life struggling, even worse, if they had to support you during that period you were struggling, oh my God, you probably will never hear the last of it. So they want to be right at all times, under any circumstances, and they often are never willing to admit that they were wrong. Now, I'm not saying all women. I've said it before. There are women who are exceptions to this rule. I happen to know some of them. One of them is my mother. She exhibits the attributes of any woman, but I have come to see her over the decades I have known her demonstrate the ability to exercise restraint in taming her excesses. And in many ways she inspires me, because I have seen her go through some major challenges in life, in her relationship with her husband, and her ability to tame herself in terms of her feminine excesses has really been something that has been kind of worthy of admiration, in my opinion. So, but the need to be right, okay, is something that drives many females. Now, like I said, when you are living with a man, and this man for some reason does not have as much money as you, or does not even have any money at all, the question is, did you get together with this man because you wanted money to be the issue of the basis of the relationship, or you actually wanted to consummate a relationship with the man because you had an interest in him as a human being? It's very important, because then when you do that, then it means you're looking at the person also as somebody that will complement you, and you will hopefully add value to his life as well. And one of the ways you're going to add value to his life is the way you make him feel. You see, women are human. They are human beings that feel a lot. Everything about them is feel. They are very feely, touchy human beings. The men are more logical, and we can be very disconnected too. So that's why it's said that a man, much as I don't subscribe to that and I don't do it, but I've been told that, and I understand, I think it's true, because I do feel that way, that a man can have sex with a woman that he doesn't even have anything for, he doesn't feel anything for. He will still stay with his wife, but he can have sex with another woman. And it's true, but we're told that women are more emotionally sensitive, and so before they will even accept to open up to have a sexual relationship with you, it's something that goes just beyond the surface for them, So the question is, when you're dealing with a man who does not have as much money as you in your estimation, and you are hoping he will function as a man in your life and as a husband to you, a father to whatever kids you're going to have, how do you make him feel? This is where the issue of whether or not you married or you get together with an alpha male or a beta male will come up, and I think it's important to point it out. Let me make it very clear to you. There are some men that can be categorized as weak men. Typically weak men, like Kevin Samuel rightly said, he said domineering, bossy, authoritarian women tend to produce weak sons. They literally break the men that are within their circle of influence, because they are so domineering that their need to dominate will make it necessary for any male person with the male instincts to kind of become subservient and to kind of bury his or her male instincts. So he becomes, over time, not so representative of what you would call an alpha male, so he'll be more of a beta male. That is why you see many people that have very, very strong figures as mother figures tend to be rather weak in character as men. Okay, now when you have a weak man who becomes a partner to you, it is not likely that that person will show the qualities that you would that women find admirable in men. They want strong men, a man that can protect them, that can defend them, a man that other men respect. So when you have a weak man that is the product of a home, probably with a single mother who was very domineering and did not allow his masculine attributes to come to the fore, what you automatically have is a man that's not likely to be attracted to a woman. She's going to see him as a pushover. She may have him in her life for, to take care of her sexual needs, but she may not see him as a man that she will respect. So he's not really an alpha male in her estimation, and in his own estimation too, he won't be even seeing himself in that role. Okay, so he will most likely want to pander to the needs of the woman and always want to do whatever it will take to please a woman. That's why you have some men like that, men who literally live to please women. Now, women do not like such men. They do not like nice guys. Those are nice guys. Alpha, beta males tend to be nice guys. The guy that wants to please the woman at all costs. Women like the man that can say no to them. They like the man that can tell them, look, this is it, and assert himself. They like a man that is a man, that acts like a man, that speaks like a man. So they still want that man who doesn't have that. This is the contradiction now. Who doesn't have as much money as them to act in that way. And then when he acts in that way, they say he's intimidated by their money. You see, you want an alpha male, but you want an alpha male that you can control. That's not an alpha male. That's not an alpha male. And that's what I think is one of the problems these women have. They want to be in control, but they still want a real man to be with them. You cannot do both. Now, a real man's instinct naturally, by the biological relationship and his biological nature, and also the relationship that biology gives to us as men and women, a real man naturally will lead. His instinct is to lead. His instinct is to protect. Even if financially he cannot provide, there are other things he can provide. Now, a woman who is able to nurture those instincts is more likely to get the best from that man than a woman who is going to be attacking the self-esteem of the man. So for instance, these kind of women that have all the money they think they need tend to look at the man and tell him, the behavior shows it. They won't listen to him, they won't honor his opinion, they will not respect him. When they are talking to him in public, they are not likely to show him, they treat him with regard. They are unlikely to honor his preferences, because they will feel that, why should I listen to him, why should I take anything from him, I'm my own boss and all that. So they want him to always remember that they're in control, but they still want him to be a man. So that's a contradiction in what you are saying. And any real man will not stay in that environment long, because I tell people all the time, and I think I've heard it said by other men too, we all know it, every real man cherishes one thing above anything else, even above money: peace of mind. I like to call it POM. I like the sound of that, POM. Give me some POM, give me all the POM I need, and I'll give you heaven. So every man who is a real man cherishes peace of mind. No man wants to come home and meet a woman that has masculine energy. It's a turn off for us. I don't want to be around a woman that is always coming to compete with me, always debating issues with me, always trying to test me. Why do I want to? I saw a video of an American woman, an African American woman, saying that, she doesn't want a man that's not prepared to tame her. Are you a wild animal? I think I've said this before in another video. Why do I need to tame you? Why should I want to tame my partner when you're not an animal now? And why would I even go and take a wild animal? I want to tame a wild animal. I like my life to be simple. Why complicate my life by bringing a wild animal and human flesh into my life? So it makes no sense for a woman to want that, to want a man to constantly prove himself. Instead, the man who is going to stay with you, if he's a real man, let's assume he doesn't have as much money as you, he's going to be looking for a woman that compliments him, that treats him with respect. You see, respect is not about whether you have money or don't have money. Respect is about how, you put in my interests. I think the Japanese have it well defined. In their society, they talk about mindfulness of others. If I put my shoes in this place, and you come and you kick them away from there and put yours there, you don't have to say a word. What you've done is disrespect, and I will feel it. So the way you make me feel is what will determine if I want to be around you. I don't have to have as much money as you. You don't have to have as much money as me, and yet we can cherish each other greatly if we treat each other with respect. The way you make people feel determines how they feel about you. If they see somebody that is always the source of them feeling pain, humiliation, discomfort, shame, they will not like you. Who wants to stay around somebody that makes him feel ashamed all the time? Oh, see, you don't have money. Am I not the one feeding you? Because you have more money than him. Any little argument you have, you remind him that you're the one paying the rent. Then you complain tomorrow, he walks away. You say he's intimidated by the fact that you have more money. He's in public with you. He tries to order food. You say you are ordering all those food. Are you the one that's going to pay? You know, the way you talk about to him in front of other people is a problem. And then you think he's going to stay around you. If he's a real man, he will not stay around long when you treat him like that. So the question to ask, you need to introspect, look at yourself, be honest and self-evaluate. How is it? What kind of person are you? Are you insufferable to be around? If yes, then that's where the problem is. If you are willing to be honest with yourself, check yourself. If you were not you and you were somebody else and you were looking at you behaving, how would you see yourself? Is your behavior okay for another man? I'm not talking about with your fellow women, you know. So that's the second part of it, where they need to be right, where the woman is always, because like this all has to do with being right, where you don't want to accept correction. You could be like that at the start of the relationship and your husband or your man tells you, honey, you know, the way you talk to me, I don't like it. You said it the other day, you know, I just kind of kept quiet, but you know, I really don't like the way you talk to me in public. And then the other day you were wrong. You told me this happened and all that, and I pointed it and I proved to you that you were wrong. And so you accused me already of doing that thing, and I pointed it out to you, and you eventually saw that it was actually you that put it in a different place. Yet you couldn't even say you were sorry for accusing me that I took it. And then if she chooses to go aggressive and, you know, kind of turn it around on you by gaslighting you and saying that's not what she said and twisting it, you know you're not going to have peace with that person. A man cherishes peace of mind. The minute a man sees that you are like that, he will not like to stay with you. He is likely to go with another woman, another female who doesn't even have money like you, but who gives him that peace of mind. Then you start shouting that it's because you have money. No, it's because you have an attitude problem. All right. There's a third thing I want to mention that I think can make a man just walk away from you when you have money, and you start thinking you start looking for excuses. And I think many women are guilty of it. When you don't have a mind of your own, when you're too busy trying to please others and you're not concerned about what he wants and what he prefers or what he expects of his own spouse. The fact that he doesn't have as much money as you does not mean he should not have an influence on you. Does not mean that you should not cherish the opportunity to honor him and even obey him. Under certain circumstances, your husband, like I said, the instinct of the man is to lead. He may not have as much money as you, but he may have your best interest at heart. And sometimes he might tell you, don't do this. I wouldn't like you to do this. I don't want my wife to dress this way. And you say, don't tell me what to do because I have more money than you. Hey, in fact, you don't even have to say because I have money than you. You can't tell me what to do. I'm not your child. I'm not your servant. I'm not your younger sister. You know, you say that to the man, you are emasculating him. In fact, he wants to even take a decision about the children or a child that you have, and you are beginning to dictate. You want to be the one to name the child. You want to be the one to decide what school to go to. Why? Because you're the one paying the school fees. You're the one paying all the money. So you believe that he should not have a say. In fact, it's only if you think he should have a say that he should have a say. You do all of that. It in fact amounts to emasculating a man, making a man feel less than a man. Question: do you want a house boy or an F boy, or you want a man, a husband, a real man in your life? Because if you want a real man in your life, then you expect him to behave like a man, which is sometimes not accepting anything you say and not accepting to do what you want him to do and telling you what he wants you to do. And it's not going to be about whether you have more money than him or not. If he's a real man, he will not look at your money in deciding how to respond to you. And sometimes he will tell you, this is what I want, and you have to do it. And because he's a man and he's your husband and you respect him, you will honor him. If you're not prepared to live like that, forget it. You can't have a real man living with you. Go and settle for a bitter male, the one that takes orders from women. You know, you cannot. Like Kevin Samuel has a set of questions he uses. One of them I just remembered now, which he used with a lot of these argumentative African American feminist ideology women. He would say, okay, so you don't need a man, you can do everything a man. She would say yes. Okay, good, no problem. So when you're married with a man, you want 50-50. He said yes, okay, no problem. So you want him to also give way to you in the home. You say yes, okay. When the burglars or thieves are banging at the door with guns and everything and threatening to break the door down, and they want to break their way into the house, and you and your husband and your children are in the house, where will you be? Will you be in front, ready to face them, and you put everybody behind you? She said, no, I expect my husband to be the one. He said, why would you expect your husband? Is he not the same as you? Are you not the same as him? Are you not equal to him? She said, yes, but he's a man. He said, no, don't say that. Don't say he's a man now when it comes to taking a bullet. You should be able to go in front and take the bullet, because you want to share all the other benefits of being in front with him. Why not share the benefits of also being the first person to receive a bullet? Why want him to go in front and face the robbers when you can as well do the same thing, since you want to share equal benefits from being in that position? The responsibilities carry equal. The benefits carry equal responsibilities. You can't claim the benefits and not want to accept the responsibilities of being in that leadership position. And that's the problem. The woman wants to say she makes more money than you, as much as money as you, but if you are making money, she wants your money to be used to maintain the family. She wants to spend her money for herself and her children. It's amazing that they think like that. It's amazing to me. And they find a way to make it all right. But they talk about equality all the time. I just don't get it. They are willing to be traditional when it comes to the aspect of who spends money on who. They expect the man to spend money because he's a man. So that's the traditional way of thinking, and they will accept it. But when it comes to responsibilities, no, the man must take responsibilities. They would rather not do that because they are women, you see. But when it comes to the benefits, they want to get access to that based on the existing traditional ways of thinking. So they want a traditional man, but they don't want to be traditional women. What a contradiction. But in summary, what I'm trying to say is this: if you as a woman are having an issue with men and they keep going in and out of your life, go and check yourself. It is very likely that the attitude you show to the men, if you are picking the right kind of men, because even if you pick a man as a gold digger, let's be honest, if he sees money and continues to see money, he will do what you want and tell you what you want to hear, and he'll behind your back he'll be playing games. So let's be honest, it's not really your money that's the issue. The issue is your attitude. If your attitude is insufferable, the man will walk away. If he's a real man, it is only a weak man that has accepted to live a life of subservience that will tolerate such excesses from any woman. And if he loves the woman and the woman continues to make him small and to belittle him and to ridicule and mock him and to shame him, that's not a relationship. And if anything, that relationship is just one-sided and it's not beneficial. A relationship should nurture both parties, okay? And both parties should see each other as being complementary to one another. If you don't have that, or if you're not capable of giving that to a man, don't expect the man to stay in your life, and don't complain that he walks away. Sometimes it's not about money, sometimes it's about you. Take a good look at yourself, look deep inside of yourself, and be honest in evaluating yourself. Whatever you come up with, use that as a basis to effect a change in your attitude and your behavior that you exhibit to your partner. It may not be the same behavior you exhibit to people outside your home. In your house, you could be a different person from the person people know you to be outside. I know people like that. Okay, I have an ex-partner who was like that. She was a monster in the house, but an angel outside. They're called closet narcissists. All right. One final thing to point out is that there's some women who have friends, and they let their friends influence them so much that the friends even influence the way they relate to their spouses at home. Even some men are like that, but many times it's the women who are like that. Women are very social animals, and they have friends who influence them. Many of these kind of women are women who came from an environment where they were moving with maybe single mothers or single ladies for a length of time before they got their husband, because they were kind of career oriented, they were making money, and so it took them a longer time to find partners. And when they found their partner, they couldn't give up the relationship with their single friends. So most of the friends they had were single. Then they found this man that was willing to settle down with them. They settled with him, but they don't want to break off with their single friends. So it is said, and Kevin Samuel was right, he said this, that single women try to keep other women single so they don't end up being lonely. So your single friends will begin to tell you things that eventually will push you to do things that will make your man walk out of your life, and then you end up being single again and you are back in their fold, and you all join together to begin to bash men and say men are trash, men are trash. But the truth is, it's because you didn't see the handwriting on the wall. All you had to do was to minimize your contact with single friends and not let them give you wrong advice to deal with your relationship. Because who should you be taking advice from about relationships? Your single friends or your married friends? In my opinion, by the time you have a man and you begin to think of marriage or relationship or settling down for the long term, you need to begin to cultivate relationships with other people who have built long-term relationships, preferably older women who have built long-term relationships with their own spouses and are doing well. Those are the people you need to begin to connect with, because they are settled down in their husband's home and are giving their husband's peace of mind that he needs. That's why they're in those relationships and they've been there for a long time. You don't want to continue maintaining your relationship with those ladies who have not found men, or perhaps they are jumping from one man to the other. If you do, they are not likely to help you build the long-term relationship you need to build with your partner. Instead, they're likely to teach you and suggest things to you that are going to make you begin to give headaches to your man. And then you end up alone again and start saying men are trash and that he was intimidated because of your money. I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions or you'd like to make a comment, please do so using the contact details on your screen. I wish you well.